Hello again, my friends, and welcome to another edition of Suds and Country. Hi, I'm Herb Sudson. Hey, we have a special edition of Suds and Country coming your way. Right, Rose?
Yes, we do. We're here with Kevin Sharp, and we are at the Count Basie Theater in Red Bank, New Jersey. And what is the event here tonight? We have a fundraiser or a benefit?
That's right. It's to benefit Jason's Dreams, which is a charity that grants wishes for kids with life-threatening illnesses. Like myself. I myself was granted a wish as a teenager when I was diagnosed with cancer, so this hits home with me.
That's great.
Do you go out and do other benefits for the same purpose?
I definitely do. The organization that granted me a wish, the Make-A-Wish Foundation, is a daily part of my life now, and it's a very important part of my life.
Well, it's a good cause, and we're happy to be here at the Count Basie Theater for such a good cause. Kevin, got a couple questions. How long have you been singing?
Oh boy, I guess my whole life. From as far back as my memories go, this is all I've ever wanted to do, and whether it was singing in my room or the shower to in church or on stage, it's all I've ever wanted to do.
What was your first paid job?
Oh boy, that's a good question. Good grief. I had a singing telegram business. I guess my first thing I ever did that I got paid to sing was singing at a wedding.
How old?
I was a teenager. I think around 16 or so. I don't know.
Always country music?
Country music has always been a favorite because I love the stories and the overall heart involved in the music. But I love all music, and wherever I can find a good song, I'll sing it.
When you were growing up, country music was an influence in the home?
Big part. I grew up in Idaho, so it's in a little town called Weiser, Idaho, and it was the home of the National Fiddle Festival. So it was a big part of our town.
Who was your favorite artist growing up?
Oh, well, my first album I owned was Glenn Campbell, Rhinestone Cowboy. I listened to a lot of John Denver back in those days.
Okay.
Roger Miller. Trailers for Sailor Rant was one of my favorite songs. I drove my family crazy singing that song. But I guess today, Garth and just about everybody who everybody else loves. It's hard for me to name one because I love all of them for a little bit of what they do, so it's hard to come up with a favorite.
Rose, why don't we put a video in here and let Kevin entertain everybody?
Okay, how about Love Is All That Really Matters? Now, in that video, I noticed there are a lot of children. Where did you get all the children from for that video?
Well, we put the word out to some schools, and the actual director that was involved in the video had an agent that deals with kids. So all these little kids that parents push them to dream to act got to be involved. So it was a lot of fun.
And at the end of the video, it looks like you're swallowing flames. Was that trick photography?
No, it wasn't. We had some flame swallowers involved in it, and by the end of the day I was willing to try it, and it was against everybody's advice, particularly my managers. They didn't want fire in my throat, but it's really simple. I wish I couldn't tell her, but I wish I could say I got burned and it was horrible, but it's really quite easy to do.
Great.
What's the difference between your albums, your first album, your second album? We're talking musically and spiritually.
Well, I guess after your first album, you're still wondering how it all happened and how you were fortunate enough to have a second one. But I found probably, I don't know if it's unique in my situation, but I found I had more control on the first album than I did the second one.
Explain that.
Well, I think on the first album, people are a little more hesitant to get involved because it's new, and sometimes when you're a new artist, people are anxious to get involved, but at the same time cautious, because an album can ruin a producer's career. It can ruin, but mainly ruin an artist's career. And when we had success with the first album, it seemed like a lot more people wanted to be involved and make some decisions, thinking it might be a little easier this time because we had a fan base. And I unfortunately was. I think the album was hurt by that.
I believe the fan base is called a friend base.
That's right. I definitely believe that people who take the time to come out to shows and buy records and call radio stations become family and friends.
How do you pick the songs for an album? How do you know which one's going to go and which one's not going to go?
Well, unfortunately, you don't know which ones are going to be hits or people are going to like. So you really, and I'm real particular about songs, and in just the situation that every lyric. I hate when there's any confusion between the lyric and who the person is as a real individual. And it's important to me that the songs hit home with me and I can relate to, and they touch me. It's very important to me.
Are you a songwriter?
I am, but I'm not.
Not on these two albums?
Well, I have I think a song each on one of each album. But I'm actually focusing more on writing now.
Those songs relate personal experiences?
Definitely. In fact, just during rehearsal, the Population 4,000 minus 1 was a song I wrote, and it's basically based on the little town that I grew up in.
Do you think videos sell songs or the artist?
I definitely think an artist sells a song, but at the same time, without the others, it's kind of a, I guess, a mutual relationship. But I think you can sell a song on the marketing and the money and basically buy a hit, but in long term, I don't think it's like a fad.
We're going to take a look at Nobody Knows. Your first #1 song was on the charts for 4 weeks. Who came up with the concept behind that video?
Well, you know, we spent way too much time in the studio on that song, but I guess it paid off. But it was actually an A&R person that we were really hesitant to do any covers on the album, and an A&R person heard the song and thought it would be a great idea, and I love the song, so I was more than willing to do it.
Now, where was that filmed? Was that in a mansion?
It was actually an old hotel that had been turned into, it was actually used as housing for the handicapped and mental illnesses, and so it was a very interesting day shooting there, but it's a beautiful place, and the people were more than friendly to let it all happen and actually be involved.
Nashville?
Yes, in Nashville.
How did you feel after that hit #1? What was your
Complete shock, because you know, you hope and dream, and the whole basis of putting a song, an album, and together is, I mean, that's your goal. It's like, you know, we're in football season now. Every team starts out, their goal is the Super Bowl, and when you get there, it's a lot of disbelief, because you can't really. Sometimes, at least for me, it wasn't tangible. It was, is this really happening? Am I dreaming? Is it real?
Where were you when you heard it went #1? Remember the exact location?
I was actually taping something at the Ryman.
Okay.
And so it was a pretty cool day. It was my first time ever performing on that stage. And a lot of people that don't know, the Ryman is the original Opry, and it still is the Opry to me.
Called the Mother Church.
That's right. And so it was a pretty wonderful day.
It was, singing in the Ryman and hearing #1, hearing your first song out. That was your first song out, wasn't it?
It sure was.
Went 4 weeks #1. Congratulations on that one.
Unreal.
How about She's Sure Taking It Well, another #1?
Well, that was a song that actually, now I'm just drawing a blank on his name. Golly. And he's a friend of mine, and I can't think.
He used to be a friend of yours.
Your love amazes me. Who sings that?
John Barry.
John Barry. Yeah. He'd actually had that on hold, and they let it go for some reason. And we had a second hold on it, and that's a publishing term. When you go out and look for songs, you ask for their availability, and then you put a hold on it to secure it for your album. And they originally had it and let it go for whatever reason, and we got our teeth into it, and I just think it's a well-written, great song.
We hear Kevin has plenty of props back here. He does impersonations of other country singers. Why don't you give us a little...
Well, I first want to clarify, I really don't do impersonations. I just make a fool of myself. There's a big difference.
But you do it well.
But you see, it's nice because when you're bald like myself, you can experiment with different things and put different things on your head. And for a lot of people who don't know, Neil McCoy's my brother-in-law, so it gives me a license to make fun of him. And so, even though he's cut his hair off since, to try to look younger because he's old, but I still wear the long hair and sing the shake and shake around on stage, and jump around and skip around like an idiot, just like Neil does.
Just like him.
That's right. But I even have a blue wig we pull out, and I try to sing and look like Shania Twain. I look more like her than I sing like her, though. If you can believe that.
That has to be seen.
But the one thing about our show is we really come out here just to have fun, and whatever happens, happens.
That's the main thing. Have a good time.
That's right.
How was your first performance at the Grand Ole Opry? Another amazing dream?
It was, because at a place like that, you don't know exactly how people are going to perceive you, because a lot of people have listened to country music that come to that still regularly for their whole life.
Oh, absolutely.
And they've been around it a long time, and so you wonder if they're going to like you or not. And we got a standing ovation, and so it was a pretty dang cool night.
Compare the feelings of appearing at a Grand Ole Opry to getting married.
Well, it's two different things. I think there was a lot more tears involved at the wedding, and a lot
When did you
more.
get married?
We got April 10th of last year.
Oh,
Not last year,
okay.
but 2 years. I guess this is our second anniversary coming up.
Time flies. Huh?
It does, especially when you're traveling around the world.
How did you meet her?
I actually met her at Fanfare.
Oh,
She an artist?
No, she's not. Thank goodness.
You signed her autograph.
Actually, my mother-in-law runs Neil's fan club, and so they were working at Fanfare, running his booth, and so we met, and that was before that was my first Fanfare, so we hadn't released anything, and no one knew who I was, including her. She probably wouldn't have married me if she knew I was an artist at the time.
Let's talk about some awards. You did got quite a collection of awards.
We've been very fortunate. We've won quite a few, but we've lost more.
Nominations?
We were nominated for just about every newcomer artist and every TV award there is. The ACMs, the American Music Awards, and we lost most of the big ones.
Who have you toured with?
Oh boy, our original tour that we ever did was with Sawyer Brown, which was a very interesting and great learning experience. We've done shows with Alabama, good grief, Tim McGraw, Leanne Rimes, Brian White. We ran across or did a show, at least one show with just about everybody at one point or another.
Have you appeared out of the continental United States?
We haven't done a show outside. I guess Canada. But you always forget about that. It's like you're still in the United States. But that's as far as our tour so far has taken us.
What are your goals in life?
Well, I guess personally, to remain married for the rest of my life to the same person. We hope to have a family, and I sure hope I'm not through in this business, because I have a lot of dreams of continuing to make music and touch people's lives with it.
You want to be an actor? You want to be an actor?
Believe it or not, that's something I've always wanted to do. But it's a lot of people get into music or acting for I believe the wrong reasons, because they think it's cool and they think you get to be famous. And I've always wanted to do this because I think music and movies are the two most influential things in our daily lives that impact us on a negative or positive basis. And I would love to have the opportunity to make some movies as well that touch people's lives.
Why did you name your bus after Chris Farley?
Well, it started out as Tommy Boy, the movie. It was something that we watched about 100 times over and over, because we all loved the movie, and it became a tradition. Any new band member or crew member had to sit down and watch it their first road trip out. And so when he died, it was just the right thing to do for the new bus.
Which video would we leave out, Rose?
Which video?
I believe we left out There's Only You.
That's my favorite song.
That's it. We
That's
can't
my
forget
favorite
that one.
song.
Say, who came up with the concept for that one?
The song itself was written by Skip Ewing, and
He's a good songwriter.
that's right. And I'm a big Lionel Richie fan. And when the first time I heard it in a publishing meeting, I thought, man, that'd be a Lionel Richie hit. And I thought, well, heck with Lionel Richie. I'm gonna cut it. It's a great love song. I sang it at our wedding, and I love the video. It was a lot of fun. In fact, there's a clip of me standing on a building. It's like the tallest building in Dallas, and it was freezing on the top, and there was ice, and I almost died.
Kevin, thanks for being on Suds and Country, my man. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
And when you see Kevin Sharp come to your neighborhood, be sure you go see him, because he does one heck of a show. Once again, thank you very much for being in Suds and Country. Thank you.